Chair, we are live on YouTube. If you'd like to go ahead and start the meeting, please.
Thank you very much, Owen. Welcome to this online meeting of the RBWM Cabinet, but sitting as trustees on Tuesday, the 25th of February 2025. I'm Simon Werner and I'll be chairing the meeting. This meeting is being held virtually via Zoom and streamed live to the public on YouTube. I remind all attendees that participation in the meeting indicates consent to the audio and video being streamed live, and acknowledgement that after the meeting it will continue to be available in the public domain. It's really important that all participants recognise that meeting remotely requires a different approach than a meeting in person. Firstly, it will be useful if all Cabinet members could introduce themselves so the public are aware who is in this meeting and the role they are undertaking. So I'm Simon Werner, I'm the leader of the council. Lynn?
Councillor Lynn Jones, Deputy Leader, Lead Member for Finance.
Mark?
Councillor Mark Wilson, Lead Member for Corporate Services.
Amy?
Councillor Amy Teasy, Lead Member for Children's Services and Education and Windsor.
Okay, and Jack?
Thanks, I'm Councillor Jack Douglas, Cabinet Member for Communities and Leisure.
Okay, who else have we got here? Richard, are you there?
Richard Coe, Cabinet Member for Household and Regulatory Services.
And any other Cabinet members? I can't see you at the moment.
Jeff and Catherine.
I'm here.
Jeff, Catherine and then Jeff.
I'm Catherine Dalcampo, Cabinet Member for Adults, Health, Housing and Equalities.
I'm Jeff Hill, Cabinet Member for Highways and Transport.
Fantastic.
We got Karen as well.
Oh, hi Karen.
Councillor Karen Davis, Lead Member for Climate, Biodiversity and Windsor Town Council.
Fantastic. For councillors and officers who have not introduced themselves, once I've invited you to speak, before you do so, please state your name and capacity in which you're speaking, if appropriate. I request that meeting participants do not speak unless I specifically invite you to do so. For virtual participants, you can indicate your desire to speak by raising your hand in Zoom. I would just like to make it known that as a council committed to transparency, these meetings will be held in part 1 from now, and therefore agenda item 6 will be considered after agenda item 3 today. So there's no need for us to move into part 2. So we'll start on the agenda items. Do we have any apologies for absence?
Just apologies from Councillor Demange.
Okay, and any declarations of interest? No, all good. Minutes of the last meeting. We had a meeting on the 12th of August. Are we happy with those minutes?
Yeah, agreed.
Happy.
We can also approve the part 2 minutes unless anyone's got any comments on those, if we want to approve them in part 1.
Okay, any comments on the part 2 minutes? Is everyone happy? Excellent. Yes, we'll approve those then. Okay, so we move on to the item on the agenda. Jack, over to you.
Thank you very much, Chair. The Kidwells Park, skate park, is enormously popular, as we know. It's really heavily used. It's been in decline over a number of years. It's not had the investment that it should have had for decades, really. The metal sections in particular they're going to need to be removed because they're becoming unsafe one by one. One's already gone, unfortunately. But there's a couple of others that they're going to have to go eventually. Now, what we hope long term is that a really good modern all concrete replacement would be possible, but we don't. So we're currently in a procurement exercise as a council, and the amount of money that's been allocated via Section 106 is perhaps not enough to give us what we really aspire to in the park. So the hope here is that we might be able to get some external funding or match funding in order to bring that up to something that's really excellent and is going to make the skate park users extremely happy.
Okay, thank you very much. Would anyone else like to comment?
I'll just comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, just a very quick one. On the report, I notice cost not exceeding £12,000. I'll just ask Councillor Douglas, how much would you ideally want from external funding, just out of interest?
We'd like to get 100 grand of external funding if we can, or more. If we're not going to get more than 50% of the total cost. Normally, match funding will require 50%. So yeah, 100 to
Thank you. That's very helpful.
150,000.
I'm in a meeting, I'm afraid, so I have to go. But thanks for the reminder.
Sorry, Richard. Have you, what are you saying?
I've just muted Richard.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So
that sounds really good.
up to 150,000, Jeff, is the hope. You know, we might get less than that, of course.
So it's a lot of money, and we're quite a long way short on our.
Yes, I mean, what we don't want to do is spend a decent amount of money and end up with something that's, you know, only barely adequate or not much better than what we've got now. We'd much rather go the extra mile and get something that's really decent quality matching. There's a lot of really good skate parks around that we, you know, can aspire to match. And
Okay, makes a lot.
Okay, I know that the one of the bits of the skate park has had to be removed on safety grounds. Will the remains of the skateball park last until we can hopefully get this match funding?
I probably should hand over to Andrew Durant for the definitive answer on that, but my opinion is that we don't know, but we hope so.
Andrew?
Yes, indeed. I mean, it's a case of us monitoring the facility and ensuring that it is safe to remain open. At the moment, it is, and we can continue using it as is set up. And then, just while I'm speaking, we'll also look to identify any other potential sources of funding that we can apply to this scheme. So we obviously have some local developments taking place, and there's certain agreements within those development arrangements, such as Section 106, and we might be able to leverage some of that funding to support this much needed improvement of the skate park at Kidwells. So that's all part of the wider kind of thinking and consideration, as well as the fundraising that Councillor Douglas has explained, which I think is a good way forwards. Thanks.
Fantastic. And I've got Mark.
Yeah, it was just a similar question actually about the sort of I guess the transition from the existing park to a potential new one. I guess there's health and safety, but I guess somehow maintaining the park as usable for the people that enjoy using those spaces would be quite important in terms of any kind of transition plan. Do you have that outlined at all, Andrew?
Yeah, if I can come in, Chair, is that okay?
Sure.
So yeah, we're as part of the work that the team's doing already, Councillor Wilson, is that we're going to be, whilst we're looking to appoint a potential contractor to help deliver the design and the actual project itself, along in sort of tandem with us, looking at fundraising opportunities. That involves a lot of engagement with current users or potential users of the skate park. So it's a bit of a condition that the national governing body puts on skate park developments as well. So if we can demonstrate really positive local engagement, which I think we'd all agree on all schemes we'd like to do more of, but with this one particularly, that might leverage some governing body support as well as some of the other funding pots that we mentioned. So it will really help us to ensure that whatever we do going forwards has had that input from people that are actually going to use it. And then you're quite right, there's some practicalities there that you've mentioned around, at what point do we potentially close it for refurbishment? Can we close part and keep some of it? There'll be those things that we just need to work through that detail with the designers and the contractors to see what we can do. But there'll probably be a period of closure, like with all those types of facilities, whilst we're renewing it. But we'll try and keep that to a minimum if we can.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
This sounds like a really good initiative, and it's sort of, these things have been neglected for so many years, and it's really great that's another thing that we're fixing the mess on. So well done, everybody. It certainly has my support. If there are no more questions.
Councillor Del Campo and then Councillor Coe.
Oh, right, I can see that. Okay, Catherine.
Thank you. Yeah, just worth pulling out from the document that that statement that this money that we're being asked to spend now is coming out of the trust, and this is not coming out of general RBWM spend. So that I just wanted to make that point. And the other one, the more of a question is, really, how confident are we of raising that money? I presume that, we're taking on a professional fundraiser. So, we should be reasonably confident that we're going to achieve the target then.
Can I take that, Simon?
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. So we've done a bit of informal engagement with the fundraiser, and the advice they give. We need to do more perhaps, and engage different fundraisers to get a second opinion. But the advice they're giving is there's a better than 50-50 chance. So it's a question of whether invest in £10,000 for a 50-50 chance of getting 100k plus in. It's definitely not a slam dunk, a certainty that we're going to get external funding. But if we can get funding from outside the borough, obviously that's a massive benefit for a borough that doesn't have a huge amount of money to spend out of its own purse.
Absolutely. And Richard?
Actually,
You're on mute, Richard.
Oren's muted you again, Richard.
So my questions have been addressed by 2 previous answers, so I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay. Fantastic. Mark?
Sorry. And just in terms of the finances of the Kidwells Trust itself, Catherine, you said that this cost is being borne by that. What do those finances look like? Is this onerous for the trust, or is it manageable?
Do you want me to take that one as well? Do you want to
sure, Jack.
We both. Yeah. So the trust has a decent amount of money in the bank. Basically, the trust has got several £100,000 available. Not necessarily immediately available, but it can certainly cover this comfortably.
Okay. That's fantastic. If there are no more speakers, can we agree that item?
Agreed.
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 Okay. Thank you very much. I think that was only the item on the agenda, wasn't it? So
apologies, Simon. Although that item actually was in 2 parts, and I only addressed the first part. They've got the second minor part about the communication board. Shall I talk about that briefly now?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So communication boards, they are large sort of picture boards with graphics on them that are an aid for people, generally children, but people who are more comfortable expressing thoughts and feelings in a non-verbal way. They're often positioned sort of around playgrounds. Fairly simple thing. It's just like a flat board with these point out pictures on them. This has been suggested by one of the councillors as something that she'd like to potentially look at rolling out across the borough at some point. Funds available, and we thought it may be possible to pilot a scheme in Kidwells using the Kidwells Trust money.
That sounds like a really great idea. Any thoughts or comments? Amy?
Sorry, I can't find all the buttons on Zoom. I've forgotten how to use it. No, I think that's a really excellent idea because it helps playgrounds become more inclusive. It helps children who can't communicate verbally to make friends, join in and express their preferences. And I think it's a great idea. Love to see them across the borough.
Fantastic. Well, it all sounds like a good use of money.
Jack, can we ensure that they're going to be...
Would you like to say something?
Sorry, I'm having the same problem as Amy with the buttons, but not the mute button. The only problem is sometimes you have these boards in parks or historic places, they're not very robust to weather or vandalism. And do we know that the materials are going to be sufficiently robust that they're not going to end up looking tatty quickly? So I think it'd be worth, if you're going to do it, investing a reasonable amount in making sure they're robust rather than something that's going to be not long lasting. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Richard. So, I mean, I'll defer to officers on that. I think the officers have already raised the question of like maintenance. You don't just put this in and forget about it forever. It could be vandalized, could be graffitied, so on and so forth. The communication boards, basically, you can. The designs are free. You just have to arrange them to be printed. So you choose your material and the cost that suits you. So yeah, that's going to have to be. We're going to have to ask officers to sort of handle all of that, I think, with those things in mind. Right,
and of course, it is a pilot, so we'll put one in here and then be able to see whether it fulfills those requirements or not. So before we start spreading it across the rest of the borough. Okay, can we agree that item as well?
Agreed.
Fantastic.
Agreed.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for attendance.
Thank you.